Are you a skinny guy that has a tough time putting on muscle? If so, today I'm gonna be showing you the skinny guy's guide for finally putting on muscle. We're gonna cover exercise and nutrition, and by the end of this, you're gonna be able to put on some mass, finally. Check it out. Okay, I'm gonna start off with the most important thing that you need to do if you wanna put on mass. You skinny guys, you guys have like the most intensely fast metabolism out of any of us. Most people would envy you, but for you guys, it's a plague. So in order to conquer this super fast metabolism, you guys need to actually eat more. In order to gain muscle mass, we need to create a calorie surplus, meaning that we need to eat more calories than our body consumes on a daily basis. What our body does with the surplus of calories is it starts to build a bigger and better body. For you guys, the emphasis on this cannot be overstated. Typically, I'd recommend between 250 to 500 calories for a caloric surplus for guys that are just looking to put on mass. But you skinny guys, you ectomorphs, you guys have a super tough time. I would recommend at least a 500 calorie surplus, if not even a 750 calorie surplus, just because of how difficult it is for you guys to put on mass. Now, I understand how difficult it is to like stuff your face at all times. So I'm gonna give you one of my best tips ever, because when I was your guys' size, I had the same exact problem. I couldn't eat as much as I needed to in order to grow. So I did this one little trick. I know, sounds gimmicky, but it is a little trick. Stomach stretching. The stomach, it can grow, it can expand. In order to make it expand, what I did was I spent a full 7 days stuffing my face, like painfully. This is to an extreme degree of what I did, but it's to give you an idea of how you can increase your appetite. So what I did was I ate like a super high amount of food to the point where I was like completely stuffed at each and every meal. For that like 7-day period, I didn't give my body a chance at all to even get hungry. If I felt even remotely hungry, I would instantly start snacking on something. All the foods I was eating too were like high in protein and high in carbohydrates to provide my body with the fuel to build more muscle. So for that week-long period, I just completely stuffed myself. And then by the end of that week-long period, which was torturous by the way, I was able to just naturally eat like a significantly higher amount of food naturally, because the size of my stomach went from say like here to like there, and then it stayed to that size. I pretty much just stuck by the principle of don't let yourself get hungry. You wanna increase your mass. First and foremost, you gotta have a calorie surplus. You guys that have a tough time, I'd recommend between that 500 and 750 calorie range. If you have a tough time eating, it might be a good idea to try, you know, the stomach stretching. Not maybe quite to the degree that I did it, but it's an opportunity to increase the size of your stomach, and it's an option that you have available. Step number 2, this is still nutrition-wise. You need to nail your macros. Most importantly, your protein intake needs to be high. You need to be getting at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I'd recommend between 1 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. When I was a really skinny guy myself and I was really trying to put on muscle, I would stick as closely to that 1.5 gram of protein per pound of body weight as I possibly could. Protein has the amino acids, aka the building blocks of muscle. The higher your intake of protein, the more muscle mass you're gonna be able to create. Mind you though, you can't take in like ridiculous amounts, like 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Your body's not even gonna have the opportunity to utilize it. It's just too much. So it'll have to disperse of it, and it'll actually put a huge toll on your kidneys. So 1.5 grams to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, you kind of want to stay away from that. That's kind of pointless. Your body can't even use it, and it's just demanding a lot out of your kidneys. So avoid that. Stick between the 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Now, carbohydrates and fat, those are the last 2 macros that you need to nail. I'm not gonna get into a full explanation here. I do have a video right here that you guys can watch where I'm explaining how to calculate your caloric intake with the calorie surplus in there as well, and as well how to calculate your macros. Carbohydrates and fats are both gonna be utilized for energy, which you're gonna need for your workouts, and they're also gonna be used as the extra calories that your body's gonna use to increase its size, to bulk up. The one thing I do wanna cover here is fats. Fats, super overlooked by you skinny guys. The reason it's good, fats have 9 calories per one gram, whereas carbs and protein, there's only 4 calories per single gram. There's literally more than double the amount of calories in the exact same quantity. If you are a guy that's having a tougher time consuming enough food throughout the day in order to hit your calorie surplus, it might be a wise idea to have a large amount of your calories coming from fats. That way you eat the same amount of volume, but you're getting more than double the amount of calories. Now, you want to stay in around the 20 to 30% of your total daily calories coming from fats. For the regular guys, I recommend about 20% of your calories coming from fats. But you guys are the skinny guys that have a really tough time. In order to kind of hack your eating and not have to put such a large volume of food into your body every single day, I'd recommend you opt for the 30% of your total daily calories coming from your fats. So you're getting your nuts, your seeds, using your oils, things of that nature. Okay, now we need to get into the training aspect. In order to put on mass, you're gonna have to increase the size of your muscles. The workout routine that I would recommend you guys is training 3 days a week. You wanna train your muscle groups once per week, and you wanna give yourself a rest in between each workout. Don't worry about cardio at this point right now. The only thing that cardio is gonna do is it's gonna burn those calories that you're consuming at a surplus for energy to run. You guys are skinny as it is. Cardio for the most part is used by guys to like burn fat. Unless you have the purpose of actually trying to increase your cardiovascular abilities or you're training for a run, I'd recommend completely removing it from your training. Strictly focus on only lifting weights for now. What I would recommend is you train once on Monday, again on Wednesday, and then to conclude on Friday. If you start working out 5 to 6 days a week, it's the same problem with the cardiovascular activities that you involve with your workouts. It just becomes too much and you're just burning a lot of resources. And you might not be giving your body the proper amount of time that it needs in order for it to fully recover and build the muscle that it needs to. So you have the possibility of impeding on your recovery, which is gonna impede on your gains, and also the downfall of burning a lot of calories from your high volume of workouts. Make your 3 workouts a week, very intense, lift heavy, push your body, but stick to that. At this point right now, if you're a skinny guy, strictly looking to bulk up right now, avoid the cardio, totally skip it, but only do that as a tactic for now until you finally put on the size that you like, and then at that point, you can start to slowly reintroduce it into your training regimen. The next tip is to use a majority of your time performing compound exercises. Compound exercises include bench press, squats, deadlifts, or even a shoulder press as I'm demonstrating to you right here. The benefit of them is simple. Compound exercises are exercises that are going to target multiple groups of muscles. Shoulder press here, for example, it's not only just going to target your shoulders, but you're also going to be incorporating your triceps as well. A bench press, chest, shoulders, triceps, even core, those are all going to be involved in order to perform the exercise. Compare, say, a bench press, which is going to be utilizing 4 different muscle groups, to a bicep curl. It's only going to be using, guess what, your bicep, 1 muscle group. The difference is it's just intense. The more muscle groups you hit, the more effective your workouts are gonna be. Not only that, but because you're incorporating so many muscle groups into one exercise, you're gonna be able to lift more weight, which is gonna give you the ability to overload the muscles in a wide variety of ways, both with weight and with training to failure through the use of repetitions. Now, how you wanna start by attacking these compound exercises is, if you're a skinny guy, you probably don't have too much experience with these big movements. So start with the higher rep range. The higher rep range is simply so that you can use a lighter amount of weight. I'd recommend between about 10 and 12 repetitions. So if you're getting up onto a bench press, you're gonna perform 10 to 12 repetitions on the bench press. And I basically just want you to do it until you finally feel that you can handle the weight and you can handle the exercise. I'd recommend doing that for the bench press, the squat, the deadlift, the shoulder press, the clean and press, pull-ups even, exercises like that. Start with a high amount of reps, a low amount of weight, just so you can get comfortable with the movements. So then from that point, I'd like you to implement 3 different types of rep range. We're gonna use 1 to 5 reps, 5 to 8, and 8 to 12 reps. 12 reps and higher. It's good for the muscles, but you're gonna be incorporating a lot of conditioning and you're gonna be burning a lot more calories. So sticking from in between about 1 to 12 repetition sets is gonna be terrific. However, it's effective to be using, say, the 1 to 5s one day, an 8 to 12 rep range the next day, and then maybe a 5 to 8 rep range the other day, just to constantly give your muscles something new, something to constantly challenge them in new ways. You're gonna be using heavy weights some days, you're gonna be using a higher amount of repetitions. It's gonna stimulate more growth because of muscle confusion. You're gonna get the benefits of increasing the strength of your muscles and therefore the density of them. And then also exercise with the higher rep ranges where you're gonna be able to increase more of the size of the muscles as well. My final tip for you guys is to always be overloading your muscles by adding more weight each and every single week. This is gonna be done by by tracking your lifts. I want you to track your lifts in like all exercises. Your big compounds, a squat, bench, deadlift, shoulder press, things of that nature, that's definite. I'd even recommend keeping track of like your bicep curls even, or like your tricep extensions or your lunges or things for that example, because you want to come back each and every single week with a number that you're out to beat. We constantly want to provide the body with reasons for it to grow and to get stronger. In order to do that, you need to provide the body with more of a difficult challenge week after week. This is gonna be the only way you're gonna be able to constantly stimulate growth. If you keep giving it the same thing that it's been used to and it's gotten used to, the body will have no reason to grow and to get better. So in order to continuously promote growth and strength increases, you need to constantly provide the body with something new, a new challenge. And you're gonna do that by providing your body with more weight to lift each and every single week. This is all gonna be handled by tracking the lifts that you got last week, revisiting them in the next week, and then trying to beat them. Whether that be 2.5 pounds more this week or 5 pounds more this week, whatever you can do, constantly strive to beat the numbers that you got last week, and you will promote plenty of muscular growth. So there you skinny guys go. Those are my absolute best tips to put on some muscle to help you go from skinny to big. They've worked for me. They're exactly the tips that I've been using to allow me to constantly gain muscle, to constantly grow. So if they worked for me, I'm confident that they'll work for you as well. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to give it a like down below, and also be sure to subscribe for weekly workout tips and nutrition tips that you won't want to miss. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.